All right. Good morning to everybody out there. My name's CJ Curry. It's the CJ Curry Show presented by PrizePicks. Guys, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, you should be playing on PrizePicks because they're doing a 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit all the way up to $100. Meaning if you've never deposited on PrizePicks before, you make your first deposit, you use code Curry, they're gonna match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100, making your first entry on PrizePicks completely risk-free. I've left a link down in the description of today's video. You guys go get started and start playing on PrizePicks if you're not already. I think most of you are, and to those that are, thank you for being here. For those of you who are joining me for the very first time, make sure you do a couple things for me. Hit the subscribe button. We just passed 10,700 subs. Slap the like button for me. We broke a new record yesterday for the NBA season. I think over 187 likes on yesterday's show. We're going to try and break another record today on what is a smaller NBA slate. A little bit smaller today, but I know that the support is still there from you fine folks. So I appreciate you individuals who show up, show out each and every day. Keep the support going. We're building a nice community both here on YouTube and offline in our Discord and Dub Club community. Shout out to everybody in Dub Club that won some money last night. I saw some folks in the winner circle who were cashing out. Congratulations to you guys. We're gonna keep things rolling with more winning picks for all you Dub Club members out there daily. So if you're not in a community, some of y'all are trapped in a group text with your friends. Some of y'all are out there, you're out there trying to send out your plays. You're out there trying to say, yo, bro, what looks good tonight on the PrizePicks? Well, we got a whole community. We got a whole Discord set up for you folks, all right? Bring your friends from the chat that you're in. Screw that group text stuff. We got a whole Discord chat community set up where you could talk to other like-minded individuals who are using the best tools to make the best plays. I'm providing picks. They're providing picks. I mean, we got a little bit of everything going on in there. So get out of those group chats. That's outdated, all right? Nobody ain't doing group chats anymore. If you're, serious about this, you're joining a good community like the community we've got started with the Eyes on the Prize. That's right, you see it. The Eyes on the Prize Discord community. Merch coming soon. I'm still working on it, but it's coming soon. So yeah, shout out to everybody who's in the Eyes on the Prize Discord and everybody who's supporting through Dub Club at just $20 a month. Link to join the Dub Club is in the live chat. Speaking of the live chat, I got a lot of folks in here, 102 of you watching. Let's run through, say what's up to the friends, to the family out there. Pimp Paul, shout out to you. Thanks for being here. Infamous Mel TV is in the building. Shout out to you. Ricky's here. We also got Ronald's Green with the what's up. I ain't seen you in a minute. What's up, Ronald's Green? How you been, bro? Mario's here. He says he's been hot starting this season. Good for you, man. NBA season's a little shaky. I just want to remind everybody, public service announcement, we are only in the first week still, right around the first week of NBA, all right? So if things aren't going your way yet, if things haven't really taken off for you in terms of the NBA, just remember, we are very much in the early stages of the NBA season. There's still a long road ahead, a lot of basketball to be played, folks. Don't panic yet. Don't get scared. Don't jump off the NBA train. It's been about 1 week. We got plenty of time. Teams are still figuring out the rotations. You got some players that are injured. We're trying to, make sense of it all right? It's going to take a little time for some of that stuff to work itself out, but I think it'll be okay in the long run. So stick with it, stick with me, and we'll be Gucci gang, I promise you. Who else we got in here? Drop the Sauces in here. He says, can we get some NFL tonight? Yeah, I drop NFL for Dub Club. We'll definitely have some Dub Club plays out there for NFL. If I find anything that looks good, I'm going to go ahead and post it for you guys. So try to put y'all on some winning picks. Let's see here. We got Fizzat Ho, who says he's still eating. I guess so. Ali, yo, what's up? Everyday Fantasy's in the building. Jason's here. Shout out to Jason. Thanks for being here. OTF Majito. Shout out to you. Gut is in the building. He says, shout out to CJ Curry for cooking last night. 90% of his picks cash. Join Dub Club. Seriously, join. I don't know that it was 90%. I don't think it was 90%, but I appreciate you gassing me up like that. We did have plenty of winning picks. Did all the picks hit? No, not all the picks hit, but A lot of picks hit. All right, a lot of picks hit. He's combing his beard. You know, maybe I was. Maybe that's why it took a little extra second for me to jump on. Maybe I was combing that beard out. Brad says, let's hit that like button. Thank you, Brad, for reminding the fine folks in here to slap the like. Yeah, I just left a link for the Dub Club in the chat, but there's always links to everything down in the description of each video. So if you're ever looking for links, what I got going on, what I'm up to, check down in the description of the video. I got you. Mike's in the building. James is in the building. Shout out to you. Fridge says you definitely bounced back. I've been a Patreon member and now with CJ on Dub Club. Yeah, listen, you know, we're not going to stay winning and stay at the top forever. Some days you go down, but you're also not going to stay down forever. You're going to get back up. All right. Things come back around. Just because you're down today doesn't mean you're going to be down tomorrow. You know what I mean? These things come in cycles. You got to ride the ebbs and the flows, the wave. You know what I'm saying? Mike from the fours, you flex, I flex back. Shout out to you, Mike. Thanks for being here. Chris is in the building. Got Michael in the building. Locked Pat says he needs a fire too, man. We'll see what we can put together. Timothy, shout out to you. Chan, the man, is here. I love that name, bro. Navia, shout out to you. Kyle Kaz is here. Baked Dubs, I see you. I see you. DeMarcus Sutton and Ronell, what up? Mike B, CJ Smooth. What up, bro? What up, Mike B? How are you? All right, we got a 4-game NBA slate to talk about. We mostly focus on basketball in here. I save the NFL stuff, the NHL stuff. I save all that stuff for Dub Club and Discord. I like to focus on hoops, and I think most of you would agree that basketball, the NBA specifically, is probably the best way to go. And speaking of the NBA, we brought back a fan favorite. Somebody mentioned to me, they said, hey, I liked when you played that Pirtle game, that NBA player guessing game, that little warm up before we got into the NBA prop talk. I said, all right, I'll bring it back tomorrow. We'll see if you guys want to, rock with the Pirtle. So what is Pirtle? It's an NBA player guessing game. You got to guess the mystery player. You get 8 guesses. Any current NBA player. This could be anybody. If you get a green in the column, it indicates an exact match. Yellow in the team column indicates that the mystery player at one point or another played for that particular team, but does not play for them currently. Yellow in the position column indicates a partial match on the position. And then yellow in any other column indicates that the attribute is within 2. It could be 2 inches in height, 2 years in age, 2 digits in the jersey number, all right? And if you get stuck, they have a silhouette mode where it shows you the silhouette of today's mystery player. So let's just start with any old random Joe. I mean, we'll go with Joel Embiid since he's our thumbnail player of the game. Embiid taking on the Toronto Raptors tonight, but we gotta start somewhere on Pirtle. So we'll start right here with Joel Embiid. Now, the mystery player is not Joel Embiid, but this player does, however, play in the Eastern Conference, is a center/forward, is going to be shorter than 7 feet tall, younger than 29 years old, and have a jersey number higher than number 21. All right, so this is to help you get the wheels turning, to help you start thinking about ball. All right, Clint Capella is a guess. Is Clint Capella younger than Joel Embiid? I don't know. They're probably about the same age if I were to guess. I don't know if Capella's going to be a great guess. What about my guy from Orlando, Wendell Carter Jr.? How about him? He's a forward/center, right? He's a little shorter than Embiid. He's a little younger than Embiid. Has a higher jersey number than Embiid. Let's go with him and see where that gets us. Here's what we can tell you now. Not in the Atlantic Division, not in the Southeast Division, but still looking for a center/forward. Wendell Carter Jr. still too tall at 6'10". But this player is around 23 to 25 years old, somewhere in that range. A little younger than 24, so 22, we'll say 23 years old. Jersey number is going to be a number that's higher than 34. So we're looking for a young fella, somebody that's been in the league for maybe like 1 to 2 years, not in the Atlantic Division, not in the Southeastern Division. So where are we at with this? I don't think we're quite there yet. Who else do we have that we could guess here? Any other guesses out there that you guys are feeling? Usually they throw the most obscure player at you. Could it be somebody like I don't know. How about like Patrick Williams? I'm just going to throw a name out there. Patrick Williams, maybe, of the Chicago Bulls. Oh, sugar. We got it. I got it. Y'all didn't get it. I got it. Today, I got it. I'm the man. It is Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls. Holy crap. 3 guesses. Well, damn. Shout out to me. I guess I'm the man today, huh? Patrick Williams of the Chicago Bulls. Yes, he plays in the Eastern Conference, Central Division. He is a forward. He is 6'7", 22 years of age, and he rocks jersey number 44. So, James, I appreciate you leaving those teams. That kind of tipped me off to maybe who it could be. So I'll give you the assist on that one. I scored the bucket, but I couldn't have scored the bucket without you, man. Thank you for the dime. You dropped a big one for me. All right. Moving on to today's NBA slate, guys. We got some news to watch, of course. No, it's not a lot of news like yesterday, but there is some key ones on here. Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, who has missed the last few games. He is still questionable tonight, dealing with an ankle injury. So keep an eye on Devin Booker's status for Phoenix. Brandon Ingram, to be determined. He did not play last night for the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans on a back-to-back. So that is something to kind of keep in mind and monitor. Brandon Ingram's status is to be determined. Jalen Duren also missed the last game. He is still dealing with an ankle injury. His status is also listed at a TBD, to be determined. Now, when Jalen Duren was out, you saw a lot of Isaiah Stewart. You also saw a lot of Marvin Bagley III. So, if Duren misses again, probably bigger roles for those two guys. You saw James Wiseman kind of get into the rotation in that front court a little bit as well. So, that's kind of what you have to look forward to today, folks. All right, Jalen Duren to be determined, Brandon Ingram to be determined, and then we got Devin Booker, questionable. So that's all your injury news. So without further ado, let's slide over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. That's right, we're back to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, this tool is a good tool for anybody playing on sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Fliff. It helps with all these different sites, not just PrizePicks. And so what does it exactly do? How does it help? Well, it goes out. It looks at numerous sports books, right? It looks at the different player prop projections for these different guys. And it says, hey, based on the odds pulled from these different sports books, here's your percentage, your chances of this player hitting or not hitting, going over or going under on their projection line. So that's what the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer does for you. That's why it's so key, so clutch. You've seen me use it on previous streams. Those of you who have been here before, who have watched and tuned in before, we use this on the daily. And oftentimes, a lot of the picks that we find using this tool end up getting bumped live and in real time as we're talking about them. They get bumped up, down, they get pulled from the board. I mean, so does this tool work? Is it an effective tool? Yes, it is very effective at finding picks and plays with good value. In other words, where you're paying less for a pick compared to your favorite sports book and some of these other sites. So really good tool. We're going to continue to use it each and every day to help us value hunt, to find the best options, mathematically speaking, that are on the PrizePicks board. So if you want to take this for a spin, guys, I've left a link down in the description of today's video. You can use code Curry, sign up, use it, take it for a 7-day trial, whatever you want to do. All right, use that special link and that code Curry down in the description. All right, so who do we have? I mean, you guys can see it for yourselves here. We got Asar Thompson, his fantasy score. He's under 29. About a 57% chance that he stays under. Tyrese Maxey, rebounds and assists are set at 10. He's at a 54.1% chance of going under there. Another one of the top plays here, as recommended by the optimizer, Tobias Harris, under 27.5 fantasy score. You got Scotty Barnes, under 37 fantasy score for the Toronto Raptors. Also for the Raptors, OG Anunoby, under 3.5 rebounds. Pascal Siakam, over 4 assists. Asar Thompson, under 8.5 boards. And you got Jordan Clarkson. Shout out to Jordan Clarkson. He was one of our picks yesterday, rebounds and assists. We took the over on his 8.5, I think it was, rebounds and assist line. And that one ended up coming through for us. respected the coin, did Jordan Clarkson yesterday. So yeah, these are like your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options. So let's dig into them a little bit more. As we did yesterday, I think we had 2 6 picks that we put together. I think we ended up hitting a total of 8 out of 12 picks, which isn't too shabby. Some of you guys made 2 pick power plays and ended up cashing out. Unfortunately, we didn't get the big 6 for 6 for the 25x payday on either slip, but 4 out of 6, we're knocking on the door. We're knocking on the door. We're right there. It's going to come through clutch for us. We're right there on the doorstep of a 25x payout. We're on the doorstep. All right, so let's look at some of these, starting with Asar Thompson. Now, Jalen Duren's absence or presence could impact somebody like Asar Thompson. I know a lot of people were on Asar Thompson for over rebounds. I don't think he cleared his rebounds yesterday with Jalen Duren sitting out. In this case, we're looking at the fantasy score. Like I said, a 57% chance that he stays under 29. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go out to some of these different models, these projection models for NBA, and I'm going to look and see, do the models project Asar Thompson to stay under 29 fantasy score, or do they project him to go over? And then we'll kind of use that to help us with our decision making. Now, as of right now, they've got Asar Thompson, Fantasy Labs in this case, at a 27.4 fantasy score projection going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know how much Jalen Duren being in or out is going to impact this number. These projections on Fantasy Labs do update dynamically, so as soon as any news comes out about Jalen Duren, this projection is likely to change. Could go up, could go down, but I'm not sure exactly, what his presence or absence, how it will impact. But 27.4. So if you wanted to wait on the Detroit Pistons news, the Jalen Duren news, I'm not mad at that. That's a fine strategy. Being patient sometimes will pay off in your favor. But for those of you who don't want to wait, here's a second projection on Asar Thompson. 29 fantasy score is where he's at on PrizePicks. You're getting a projection of under 27, and this is RotoWire. 26.98 to be exact. So 2 projections that have Asar Thompson for less than 29 fantasy score. Checking another site here. This is LineStar. LineStar has some nice tools. Of course, you got to pay for all these tools, but I'm showing them off for you folks. So you get a little sneak preview, a little glimpse at what you can expect here. Asar Thompson, 29.92 fantasy score. So a little bit higher than where he's at on PrizePicks at 29. But let's check a fourth projection. Now, this site's free. This is NumberFire. You guys probably know about NumberFire by now, most of you anyways. If you don't, NumberFire, completely free. They got fantasy score projections, single stat player prop projections. They got a little bit of everything right here for you for free. All you got to have is a Google account. Get signed up for NumberFire. Check them out if you're looking for a free tool, free solution. Anyway, they've got Asar Thompson all the way down at just 24 fantasy score. So that's 3 out of 4 projection models. Not a 4 for 4, not a clean sweep, but a 3 out of 4 is not bad. They all have Asar Thompson projected for less than 29 fantasy score. Now, talked about it. We mentioned it. If you want to wait, I understand you could wait for the Jalen Duren news to figure out if he's in or out today. Look at Kelly Oubre. Who's this guy think he is? He's got his little arms crossed. He's like, giving sass in his little profile picture. I think this is the first time I've seen Kelly Oubre's picture on the PrizePicks board. What is up with that? That's not a standard team issued photo there. They might have pulled that off his Instagram for all we know. Kelly Oubre, mean mugging. Anyway, over to Asar Thompson, 29 fantasy score. If you want to take him now, maybe you think Jalen Duren's not going to play, dealing with that ankle injury, and you're feeling good about taking the under on Asar Thompson with Jalen Duren news pending. Well, you can do that. He is projected to go under on 3 out of 4 sites at 29 fantasy score. So that is the top NBA play on the optimizer right now, just for y'all who are wondering. Tyrese Maxey's at 10 rebounds and assists, 54.1% chance that Tyrese Maxey stays at 10 or less rebounds and assists tonight. They're taking on the Toronto Raptors. It's a 54.1% chance that he stays at 10 or fewer rebounds and assists. So now that we know that, let's go run some projections on Tyrese Maxey, who has pretty much now inherited a much larger role with James Harden permanently away from the Philadelphia 76ers. He's now a Clipper, for those of y'all who have not heard. James Harden traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, the 76ers are going to be adding a whole plethora of new players to the mix. I don't know how these guys are going to integrate into the team. Robert Covington, KJ Martin, Nick Batum. Who else did they get in that trade? Marcus Morris. I mean, those are 4 veteran players. Are they going to impact Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Kelly Oubre, what's his name? Tobias Harris? Are they going to impact those guys? I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know if they're all active tonight, if they're going to slowly start to work these guys in, give them minutes in the rotation. But nonetheless, keep your eye out on that. For me, Philadelphia might be a fade for a little while. That might be a team that I avoid, other than maybe somebody like Joel Embiid, who we know is typically going to get his. But I might avoid guys like Tobias Harris, or maybe even a Tyrese Maxey. With all these new pieces being added to the roster, it's going to take some time for them to figure out how many minutes gets allotted and assigned to these different individuals that they just traded for. You would think that Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid's minutes and usage and stuff would be fairly safe. It wouldn't change a whole lot, you would think. Anyway, the first projection for Tyrese Maxey is 10.7, right? His line is 10. 10.7 is the projection. Again, the optimizer was saying take the under on Maxey at 10 rebounds and assists. Just checking second projection for you guys, 8.7 rebounds and assists, and that's RotoWire giving us that one. Okay, so 1 projection over, 1 projection under thus far for Tyrese Maxey and those rebounds and assists. Checking a third projection for you guys. Now, this one's on LineStar. LineStar's grayed out for some reason, but LineStar has him at 11.4, so that's another over. So for the optimizer telling us to take the under based on the way that people are betting this up on the sports books, well, if you just throw a little bit of a projection model at it and you kind of look at it under that lens, I mean, you're getting a lot of different results. 3.3 rebounds, 3.9 assists, so 7.2 projected rebounds and assists. So you got 2 projections for the over, 2 projections for the under on Maxey's line of 10 rebounds and assists. I think I'm going to just leave it alone. I'm seeing too much conflicting information, projections. And again, we just talked about all the new faces that are going to be joining that Philadelphia 76ers team. So for me, I'm okay with just leaving him right where he's at. We can look for other plays. Here's one that just popped up. Jordan Clarkson. Again, he respected our coins yesterday. If you took the rebounds and assists line for the over on Jordan Clarkson, he did come through clutch for us. He's taken the floor again tonight in a back-to-back. 55.2% chance, though, that he's going to stay under 27.5 fantasy score. And I don't think there's any crazy pending news for the Utah Jazz tonight, so we don't really have anything to worry about with taking this as an underplay if it checks out at this time. So let's peep this real quick. 55.2% chance that he goes under 27.5. So again, we're just going to check out some of these different models. This first one's got him at 28.5. So that's a little bit higher than we would have liked to see on a line of 27.5, right? But let's check some other ones. Maybe there's other projections that are more favorable here. We got him at 30.2, so that's 2 projected overs for Clarkson. So I'm just going to leave him alone too. He is projecting well on some of these projection models. By well, I mean for more than 27.5. So we could skip him. He could stay right there. OG Anunoby's rebounds under 3.5 boards. Oh, he got bumped up to 28. Got you. Well, he is checking out pretty nice on some of these models, so I don't blame people for betting the over on him. OG Anunoby, though, Toronto Raptors swingman. He's at 3.5 rebounds, 54.7% chance that he stays under 3.5 rebounds. Let's check this one out. OG kind of started the season off looking a little, I don't know, banged up, I guess. He missed a game already. 3.7 projected boards puts him just a little bit over the 3.5 marker. Research prevails with the super chat. He says, CJ, I hit 2 6-mans and 4 5 out of 6s yesterday for the 2X. Damn. So 2 25X payouts and 4 double ups. That's a profitable day, bro. Did I help you with that? Are you saying thank you because I because I helped you by leaving that super chat. All with your plays in the Dub Club. I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Let me pop my collar real quick. That's awesome, man. Seriously. Good for you, brother. I'm glad to hear that you had a profitable day using the picks that I posted for Dub Club. Like I said, are they all hitting? Are all the picks hitting? They're not all hitting, but they're all research driven. Just like I do here on YouTube, I provide even more for the Dub Club members. And my guy Research Prevails went up big last night from what it sounds like. 225x payouts, multiple 2x payouts. Huge. That's huge. That's what I'm here for. That's why I do what I do, to help the crew. Bars. OG Anunoby, though, 3.7 rebounds on a line of 3.5, put him slightly higher than where he's at. So the optimizer says, hey, take the under on OG Anunoby, but he is projected over on this first projection model. So that kind of flies in the face of what the Opti is saying, right? Checking a second projection, 5.1 projected rebounds on OG Anunoby going up against Philly. So we got two projections over the 3.5 rebound mark. So I'm gonna pass on him too. I'm gonna say fade. We could fade that one and keep looking. Who else we got? Scotty Barnes of the Raptors, 37 fantasy points, 54.1% chance that Barnes is going to stay under his fantasy score. For those of y'all who don't know, fantasy score is comprised of a lot of different categories. You got points, you got rebounds, you got assists, you've also got blocks and steals, and then you also get docked a point for every turnover that the player has. Now, these are not all weighted the same. In other words, blocks and steals, those are worth 3, but an assist is only worth 1.5. Whereas a rebound is worth 1.2 fantasy points, and a point is a point. So that's kind of how they shake out. The things that are harder to do, like block shots and get steals or get an assist, you get more fantasy points for those. So that's kind of how things, I don't know if you've ever really looked into fantasy score, but that's how it works. So in this case, what this optimizer is going out and doing, it's looking at all those different categories that make up a fantasy score for Scotty Barnes. And it's looking at how the juice is coming in. Is it coming in on the over or the under on his points, on his rebounds, on his assists, his steals, his blocks, his turnovers? And then based on that, it applies those different weights to those categories to come up with a fantasy score. So like if you look at DraftKings, based on the DraftKings odds for the different markets that make up Scotty Barnes' fantasy score, that would be a projection of 35.2 fantasy score based on DraftKings lines and the odds on there. 35.9 on a site like Barstool. 35.7 on a site like BetMGM. So that's kind of how the optimizer determines whether we should be taking the over or the under on the fantasy scores. It goes out and it looks at real sportsbook data for us. So in this case, Scotty Barnes is at 37 fantasy score based on all the lines that make up his fantasy score, the way that those different markets are being bet. You got about a 54.1% chance. No, I believe turnovers should still be -1. I don't think it's ever been 1.5. As far as I know. It's based on FanDuel scoring. PrizePicks fantasy basketball scoring is based on FanDuel scoring, which is also the same as Yahoo fantasy basketball scoring. Now, if we're talking NFL, that's a different animal. NFL is most like DraftKings when it comes to fantasy score. So don't get them confused. Not everything applies or rocks with like the FanDuel scoring. NFL's different. NFL's most like DraftKings, NBA's FanDuel. MLB is different. If you're talking pitchers, you're talking FanDuel. If you're talking hitters, you're talking DraftKings. So it's important to know those details. Anyway, checking out some projections for Scotty Barnes. He's at 37. Keeping that in mind, we can see that he is projected for 35.4 fantasy points, which is less than 37, which goes in tune with the way that the optimizer said we should be taking Scotty Barnes. He's at 34.8 fantasy points here on RotoWire. So 2 for 2 when it comes to Scotty Barnes' fantasy score projections. He's a bit high here on LineStar. They've got him all the way up at 39.5. Let's just check NumberFire out real quick and see where he's projecting at on NumberFire. 32.8. 32.8 fantasy points on a line of 37. So 3 out of 4 projection models agree Scotty Barnes is a little too high at 37 fantasy score. So easy peasy. Come over here to the fantasy score category on PrizePicks and you click less. All right. So there's 2 plays for you. Again, Asar Thompson, we're waiting on Jalen Duren news. Some of us are. Some of us may not wait on Jalen Duren news because we don't think Jalen Duren's presence is going to impact Asar Thompson's fantasy score all that much. If anything, if Jalen Duren is in, maybe it hinders Asar Thompson from getting more fantasy points than 29. So Asar Thompson, Scotty Barnes, you want to lock this in as a 2-pick power play? Go for it. Get it before it gets bumped, because most likely it will get bumped, being that these are some of the top plays at this time on the optimizer. Okay? You wait, you snooze, you might lose. You might lose out on the value. Taking a look at another one here. Philadelphia 76ers forward Tobias Harris. 27.5 fantasy score, 54.1% chance that Tobias Harris stays under 27.5. A lot of under options today on the optimizer. 54.1% chance that he goes under 27.5. So again, we're just going to go run these projections real quick and see how he's stacking up on some of these different fantasy projection sites like Fantasy Labs, a company that's been around forever in the daily fantasy sports world and have won people large tournaments on DraftKings and FanDuel. They've got good stuff, good tools. 26.7 is the projection there, putting him under 27.5. So good first projection. Second projection on Tobias Harris, 28.3, a little higher than the 27.5, but not much higher, right? Not much higher. If the majority has him going under his fantasy score, then we're cool with that. Line Star's got Tobias at 27.4, putting him slightly under 27.5, just by a little bit. Not a lot, baby girl, just a little bit. And then the last projection, Tobias Harris is sitting at 30 fantasy score. So you got 2 overs, 2 unders on Tobias Harris, but I will say that a lot of the lines for Tobias Harris are razor sharp. For me, it's a little too sharp to take the under on Tobias at 27.5. I'm going to leave him there and look for something better. But yeah, I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it, but it does somewhat check out, we'll say somewhat. All right, John Collins of the Utah Jazz. New team, new situation for Collins this season. Obviously, he was with Atlanta for all those years. Now he's with Utah, playing alongside the likes of Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler in that front court. So John Collins, 28 fantasy score on a back-to-back tonight, 53.8% chance based on sportsbook data that he's going to stay under 28 fantasy score. So we know that the under looks like the optimal play on his fantasy score. Let's go see if these projection models kind of agree with that sentiment. He's projected for exactly 28 fantasy score on Fantasy Labs, oddly enough. So that would be a tie or a push. If we go check him out over on RotoWire actually not showing a projection for him, but we can go over here to their optimizer and plug his name in, and we should get a projection for him there. Collins is at 26.6 fantasy score, so that would be an under for John Collins there. So we're at 28 or under so far. He's at 26.93. That's another under for Collins. So the most that we've seen him projected for is about 28. 26 over here on Number Fire against Orlando. I want to bring to your attention, folks, yes, I am clearly a little biased because I'm an Orlando Magic fan, but the numbers don't lie, and they're not biased. Orlando's one of the top defensive teams in the league right now. I think they're 3rd overall in defensive rating. They're holding teams to very low scoring outputs. So taking more unders in a situation like this may not be bad. Orlando's pretty good defensively. And on top of that, Utah offensively is one of the bottom scoring teams thus far early on in the NBA season. So you got one of the best defensive rated teams against one of the worst offensive rated teams. You're probably not in bad shape taking more unders than maybe you typically would from this game. I'm just pointing those out. pointing that out to you guys. So Collins, yes, pretty much 28 or fewer fantasy score on 4 different projection models that we've looked at. So should you go under on John Collins? I mean, yeah, I think you should. Is it a guarantee to hit? Nothing's guaranteed, guys. Nothing's guaranteed. If I knew it was guaranteed, I'd take every dollar to my name and I would put it on the under. But, you know, we're gambling here, so I'm not going to do that, obviously. This is daily fantasy sports. If we play our cards right, if we play with a little discipline, we can do this each and every day, and we can build bankroll, and, you know, we can make this a sustainable thing. But here's what we got so far. Asar Thompson under, Scotty Barnes under, and John Collins under their fantasy scores. 3 different fantasy score options. So you can take these as a 3-pick power play. You can take 2 out of the 3 and make a 2-pick power play. You could add your own picks to this and make a 4-pick power flex, a 5-pick flex, a 6-pick flex, whatever you want to do. Get loosey-goosey, get crazy, get weird. It's up to you. All right, let's look at some of these other ones that popped up because we got some Orlando Magic players that have just joined the fray here. Both of these are fantasy score options. Both of these are guards for the Orlando Magic. You got Markelle Fultz, 27 fantasy score, 54.2% chance that he hits. You've also got Cole Anthony, his backcourt mate, who's at 22.5 fantasy score, 54.2% chance that he hits the under as well. Now, I've warned you guys about my Orlando Magic. I kind of know them a little bit. I watch them daily whenever they're on TV. And what I will tell you is this: Orlando is one of those teams, very tricky from game to game, night to night, to figure out. Yes, they've got studs, young studs like Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, and probably more often than not, most nights, those guys are going to be leading the way for Orlando, but they've got a lot of talent across the board. Some nights it's going to be Cole Anthony coming off the bench having a big game. Some nights it might be Markelle Fultz who pops off. Some nights it might be Wendell Carter Jr. who's playing well from the center spot. Some nights it might be Gary Harris who comes out of nowhere and sinks 6 out of 6 shots off of the bench. 5 for 5 from 3. I'm just warning you that this Orlando Magic team is going to be one of those ones that's going to make you pull your hair out. Kind of like the Boston Celtics in a way, but the poor man's version of the Celtics. The Celtics have been kind of hard to figure out too. Tatum's usually going to eat. Brown's usually going to eat. But then you're going to have nights where Porzingis is eating, or Derek White comes out of nowhere, or Drew Holiday does his thing. I'm just warning you guys. Be careful with these Magic players. I think Magic more often than not are going to be under options for me than they are over options. And in this case, we got 2 good ones. We've got Markelle Fultz under 27 fantasy score and Cole Anthony under 27 or 22.5 fantasy score. So let's just see how things check out for both players. Fultz is projected for 30.1 today, so I'd probably say don't take the under on him. Cole Anthony's at 25, so again, he's projected to go over 22.5 fantasy score. So both of these guys are actually projecting to go over, but would I be surprised if one or both end up going under tonight? I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. But we'll skip over both of them since both are projecting to go over at this time, and that kind of goes against what we saw here on the optimizer, right? What else do we got here? We got Zach Collins, 3.5 assists. You could take purely the assists on their own, or you can look for something like a rebound and assist combination. Maybe Zach Collins goes over that. I took his PRA the other night. Although his rebounds did not hit on their own, his points, rebounds, and assists did end up hitting. So Collins is going to be one of those guys that gets a little bit of everything. He's going to usually score some points. He's going to get some rebounds. He's going to get some assists. All right. So, you know, he does a little bit of everything. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He's a Swiss Army knife for the San Antonio Spurs. He plays a lot alongside of Victor Wembanyama. Both of those guys kind of occupy most of the minutes in the front court for San Antonio. At least that's been the case early on. So Collins is sitting at 3.5 dimes, 54.1% chance that he goes over. But yeah, like who said that? Made the Vucevic comment. Relink. I think it was R-E Link or whatever. He says, like, what happened yesterday with Vucevic? Vuce was at 2.5 assists. Well, Vucevic did not get the over on 2.5 assists. And so he's saying, I'm going to kind of stay away from these big guys and these assists because of what happened with Vucevic. I don't know that that's fair to do that, but I can understand why you're doing that. Typically, you know, the centers, unless you're like a Jokic or you're like a Sabonis, you're not going to get a lot of assists. Now, these lines for these centers are typically set pretty low, like Zach Collins is 3.5, but let's just look into it. Forget what we think we know. Let's just see if, you know, the data points us into the direction of taking the over on Zach Collins at 54.1% chance that he succeeds in going over 3.5 assists. So we'll start here by taking a look at Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs, 3.5 assists for Zach Collins in this case would be an over. Checking out Zach Collins over here on RotoWire, they've got him at 3.7. And then we'll check him out here on LineStar. LineStar's got him at 4. So he's at like 3.5 to 4 so far on 3 different projection models. And then over here on NumberFire's got him at 4.5 assists. So anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5. So we're not really seeing any projections under 3.5. At minimum, we're seeing 3.5 as kind of like the floor or the base, and then 4.5 is kind of like the ceiling of potential outcomes for Zach Collins and his assists. Big Dub says that he's had 4, 4, and 8 assists in his last 3 games. Now, you could look at game logs like that, and they could be somewhat telling in terms of like trends. Is this guy covering? Is he not covering, you know, a particular line? But you should look at every game in a vacuum. I mean, tonight's matchup, not going to be exactly the same matchup that he's had in his previous 3 games where he's succeeded, right? But that's where these projection models kind of come in. They look at all that information. They take into consideration things like game total, pace, matchup, etc. And then they try to give us the most accurate projection of what could or might happen. And in this case, like a NumberFire has him at 4.5 assists, which means he could be at 4 to 5 assists tonight if things go optimally. Okay? So yeah, let's look at what Baked Dubs was looking at. He had some game logs kind of pulled up, I guess, and was looking at Zach Collins. We're going to look at just this season so far. And you can see Collins hasn't really done a bad job in terms of assists. I mean, he's had 3 against Dallas, so you would have lost by the hook on tonight's line of 3.5. But it's not like he only had 1 or no assists, right? I mean, he's been pretty consistently right around 3 to 4 assists. I mean, he even had 8 dimes against Houston. I don't know how that happens when you're a center, but I mean, he's shown that type of upside. So he's had 3 at the fewest, 8 at the most. But yeah, he's 3 of 4. So I mean, he's going to be more than likely around that 3 to 4 window. And, you know, you never know. He might pop off and get you 8 dimes tonight or somewhere in between 4 and 8. So I understand what you guys are saying, like with Vucevic last night, kind of got burned, right? You know, you had him at 2.5 assists. You were hoping that he was going to get more assists in that case. But, you know, that was Vucevic, not Zach Collins. Different matchup, different team, whole different situation. So to say you're going to steer clear of, you know, a center and their assists, I don't know that that's fair. I think you should look at everything in a vacuum. So anyway, up to you what you want to do. But Zach Collins does have about a 54% chance of going over 3.5 assists. And he's projected anywhere from 3.5 to 4.5 dimes. So are you going to take it? That's up to you. I'll take it. How about that? I'll take it. You guys don't have to. I will take the hit for you guys, and I'll let you know if it ends up working out. But don't feel any pressure. I'm going to do it because it looks like a plus EV play to me, and it looks like a play that is projecting well for the most part. Maybe I'll pivot to his points, rebounds, and assists if those check out. Maybe that's the better move. I mean, he's done pretty well with those for the most part, 22 to 23 most games. So that could be another alternative play for Zach Collins if you want to go there at all. Maybe you despise Zach Collins for whatever reason. I don't know. So anyway, keeping it moving here. Controversial pick, I guess, Zach Collins. We'll see what happens, though. We can't control the outcome, but we can control the input. In this case, we've done, our due diligence. Now we just need Zach Collins to go out there and play ball. Jordan Clarkson for the Utah Jazz is at 3.5 rebounds. Now at 3.5 boards, 53.8% chance that Jordan Clarkson is going to stay under, according to the data pulled from these sports books. All right. So we're looking for anything projected under 4 for Jordan Clarkson. Under 3.5 would be even better, but under 4 ideally. Now this first projection's not going our way, not how we wanted it to go. 4.1 rebounds puts him over 3.5. That is not what we wanted to see. We wanted to see something less. 4.2 rebounds on RotoWire. So I'm going to go ahead and leave Jordan Clarkson alone. I'm going to fade that one. It is a plus EV play, but you know me, I like to add an extra layer. In this case, looking at projection models, and it just wasn't checking out all that good. So I'm going to leave it right there. You got Osman here for the San Antonio Spurs at 8.5 points, 53.7% chance that Cedi Osman's going to go under 8.5. So let's check him out. He's kind of coming off of the bench in a complimentary role player type of role for the Spurs. Doesn't get a lot of run. I mean, your Devin Vassell, your Keldon Johnsons, those guys are the ones that are typically getting, most of the minutes. I don't even have a projection for Cedi right now. Let me refresh here. Maybe they're still working on Cedi Osman. There we go. There's some Cedi or Chetty. 7.7 projected points. Again, his line is 8.5, so 7.7. We're cool with that. That puts him under 8. Puts him under 8 points. Checking out where he's at on RotoWire. They got him at 7.95, putting him under the 8.5 mark once again. So 2 for 2 on these projections. Here he is at 10.2 on LineStar. So LineStar feeling kind of generous on Osman tonight. They think he's going to score double-digit points, 10 or more. Interesting. So that's the one projection thus far that has him going over his line. And then this last projection's got him at 8 points. So 8 kind of seems like the top of where we're seeing him as far as projections for him to go under. So you can add Osman here. 3 out of 4 models agree. The sportsbook data agrees that he's going to score fewer than 8.5 points tonight. So there's another Spur play for you. So you got Osman under 8.5 points, Zach Collins for more than 3.5 assists, John Collins for less than 28 fantasy score, Scotty Barnes for less than 37 fantasy score, and Asar Thompson for less than 29 fantasy score. So you got 5 solid picks. We've done the research. We've looked at the data together on all of these. None of them have a 100% chance to hit. None of them are free or a lock. We know that, right? We're gambling. Most of us do. But there's 5 options for you. Now, I'm going to get on to you guys because there's 192 people watching. Somehow or another, we're stuck at 82 likes. And it just ain't adding up. The math just ain't adding up. Way more of you watching than liking. And I need you guys to turn that ratio around for me. Let's get some more likes. Like I said yesterday, we set a like record, I think 187 likes on yesterday's live. Let's try to get back close as we can to that. Even if we don't surpass 187, that's cool. We don't have to surpass it. We don't have to break or set a new record for likes. Let's just try to get them up to 100 before I hit the end stream here. Oh, we are over 100. 101. Well, damn. How about that then? How about that? You guys really just showed up for me. I appreciate that. Love that. All right, cool. All right, well, there's 5 picks. Let's find one more, and then I'm going to get to some of these super chats because you guys are starting to pile up these super chats on me, and I want to make sure that I make it worth your while to leave a super chat. So let's get to these super chats here momentarily. One more pick. We'll make it a 6 pick, and then we will tackle some of your questions, your hard-hitting matters and urgent needs that you have in your super chats, all right? Dennis Schroeder came through nicely for us yesterday. He kind of started off slow in the first half, but second half, he sailed past his points line. I think that was one that we talked about yesterday. We took Dennis Schroeder over, was it 12.5 points? And he ended up sailing past that in the second half pretty early on. Well, today he's at 1.5 3-point makes, and he's got about a 54% chance of staying under 1.5 3-point makes. So Schroeder, after a big scoring game yesterday for his, stature, his status, that was a big scoring game. He's at 54% today to go under 1.5 3-point makes. So let's run some projections on him. Let's see what Dennis Schroeder's all about today on the three ball. 1.3 projected 3-point makes going up against Philadelphia. So that puts him down closer to 1 3-point make than it does 2 3-point makes. So that's not a bad first projection. If we're thinking going under on Dennis Schroeder's 3-point makes is the way to go here. Another projection for him has him down at 1.3 projected 3-point makes. Again, not only does that put him under 1.5, but it also puts him closer to 1 than 2. If he sinks 2 from beyond the arc, well, then he also sinks our hopes and dreams of going for 25x. So we don't want that to happen. We don't want to make in 2 tonight. 1.8 projected 3. So once again, Line Star likes to be sort of the odd one of the bunch of these projection models and kind of stands out on their own. They think that Dennis Schroeder is going to be closer to 2 3-point makes tonight with a projection of 1.8. Interesting. So let's take it to a fourth and final projection just to see what Number Fire has to say here. Number Fire's got him down at 1.3. So Number Fire's kind of in line with some of these other more reputable models like your RotoWires, like your Fantasy Labs. They've got Schroeder staying under 2 3-point makes. I just want to see for my own eyes how Schroeder has done thus far for Toronto when it comes to 3-point makes. I just want to take a peek. We'll use Prop.Cash to help us in this regard. Here you go. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in which Dennis Schroeder has appeared in. And according to this, he has nailed 2 or more threes in 4 out of 5. Now, what I'll say is this. The hit rates are good. The projections are not good when it comes to Schroeder making 2 or more 3-point makes. So you got a decision to make. Are you riding with sort of like the trend of Schroeder going over 1.5 3-point makes, or are you going to ride with the projections and the way that the juice is flowing, which suggests Schroeder's going to be closer to 1 tonight, like he did against Portland? I don't know. I think for me, I'm going to leave it alone because he has been pretty hot from beyond the arc. He has been taking and making some threes for Toronto. So he could stay right there. I'm cool with that. We got other picks. We ain't got to settle for less. How about DeAnthony Melton? He just popped up on the board, and he's pretty green here. 55.2% chance that DeAnthony Melton's going to go for under or less than 3.5 assists. 55.2% chances. That's pretty sweet. That is a pretty high chance. First projection for Melton, though, 4 dimes. Second projection, 4.1. So I'm just going to leave it alone, man. The models are saying, nah, man, he's going to get 4 tonight. People are betting the under big time at 3.5. If he goes down, let's say he goes down to 3 assists, because he very well might. If he gets bumped down to 3 assists on PrizePicks, then I would say let's take the over, because we got the potential for a push or a tie at 3 dimes. So at 3.5, I'm going to stay away from it. At least stay away from taking the under. At 3, I would probably take the over. And it could turn to 3 real quick, being that he's so high up on the optimizer. It's either going to turn to 3 or PrizePicks is going to take this down completely. Okay? But keep your eye on that one. If it goes down to 3, start smacking the over at 3 and take the over at 3 assists. But leave it alone at 3.5. I think we can go with that. That'll be a kind of the safe way to play it. A couple of other Raptors have joined the mix here. We got Siakam over 4 assists. I'm going to stay away from that one. I don't like potential ties or pushes, but you've also got Siakam for over 10.5 rebounds and assists, and you've got Jakob Poeltl for over 9.5 rebounds and assists. So you got 2 different rebounds and assist options. You got 2 different over options, and you got 2 guys that happen to play for the same team, the Toronto Raptors. So let's look at both of these guys real quick and their rebounds and assists category. Still looking for that elusive 6th pick. Here's one. A projection for Siakam, 11.3 projected rebounds and assists going up against Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I will tell you this. Those of you who have paid attention, I think I've brought this up in the past and I've mentioned it before. There's something about Pascal Siakam and Joel Embiid. When they get together, when they play head-to-head, it like brings out the best in both of these guys. And I think that the key link between that is like there's like this rivalry. I want to say that they're both from Cameroon, and there's like this like sense of pride or something when these guys go head to head. I mean, they're like 2 warriors out there playing basketball. They put up better numbers against each other than they usually do against other teams and other players. But yeah, I think there's like this Cameroonian rivalry when these boys get together where they just kind of like butt heads. But take a look at it. I mean, go look at the numbers for Pascal Siakam versus Joel Embiid historically. And I think you'll see that Pascal Siakam's numbers tend to kind of go up when he plays against Embiid. So something to keep in mind. It's a narrative. It's not a data-driven thing necessarily, but I believe these 2 guys tend to bring out the best in one another. There you go. I think we'll say it that way. But yeah, Siakam rebounds and assists are projecting well at 10.5. He's projected for 11.3. Just getting you some other projections on Siakam here. 13.1 projected rebounds and assists on RotoWire. That's a pretty darn big over for a line of 10.5. Now, of course, Line Star again, for whatever reason, they like to be the outcast, the rebel. He's down at 10 rebounds and assists on Line Star. So they've got him underweight. But he's at 7.4 rebounds and another 5.3 assists over here on Number Fire, which is going to put him well over the 10.5 marker. Now, somebody said that he got bumped up to 11 on PrizePicks. So if he did get bumped up to 11 on PrizePicks, if in fact he did, I'm going to confirm. Yes, he did. If he did get bumped, in which in this case he did on PrizePicks, you can still take him probably on another site at 10.5. Maybe your underdogs or something like that hasn't bumped him up. So hopefully some of y'all took it at 10.5. If not, no big deal. There's other options. Like I said, Siakam tends to go off when it comes to playing Joel Embiid. In fact, you know what? Let me go to StatMuse real quick. This is a good way to illustrate my point. Pascal Siakam game logs versus Joel Embiid. He puts up some really good numbers most of the time. So this was his last game. That might have been a preseason game. I'm not sure. It could have been regular season. Not so great there, 11, 7, and 4. But look at some of these games that he's had. 38, 15, and 6. 25 and 13. 37, 10, and 12. A fat triple-double right there last season. 26, 10, and 5. 28, 6, and 8. 22, 6, and 7. 23, 7, and 8. So yeah, I mean, he just has put up some monster games versus Joel Embiid. And like I said, I think it's a Cameroonian thing. Both of these guys, they just go at it, man. So I would expect Embiid and Siakam to play their best ball tonight. But yeah, monster when it comes to rebounds and assists in some of these games here. So if you got it at 10.5, I think you're in pretty good shape. I think there's a good chance Siakam balls out. Now, the other guy that we talked about was his teammate, and that was Jakob Poeltl. He was sitting at a lower number than Siakam, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just go double check. Let's double check. What was his line? Pirtle. Did they already bump him too? They might have. They might have bumped both of these boys. Where is he at? Rebounds and assists at 9.5. No, he's still good, I think, at 9.5. Wasn't that what he was at? Or was he at 8.5 and they bumped him? Hopefully they didn't bump him a whole point. But anyway, at 9.5, he's still an over option. 53% chance, we'll call it, of him clearing 9.5 rebounds and assists. They're going to need his big body out there for Embiid tonight. He is projected for 11.1. So that puts him over 9.5. No problem. Good first projection. Second projection for Jakob Poeltl. 13 rebounds and assists. Big projection there for him. Taking a look at where he is at on LineStar. LineStar actually showing some love to Jakob Poeltl tonight. 10.6 rebounds and assists. They weren't player hating like they were Siakam. So he's really checking out nicely across the board. A lot of these projection models think that Jakob's going to have himself a nice little game, as long as he doesn't get himself into the gulag for foul trouble, right? And his last projection is going to be 12.1 rebounds and assists. So if you missed out on Siakam, no big deal. We can pivot over to his teammate, and we can add him to the mix at 9.5 rebounds and assists, going up against Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. So here's what we got. Asar Thompson under fantasy score. Scotty Barnes under fantasy score. John Collins under fantasy score. Zach Collins over 3.5 assists. Seti Osman less than 8.5 points. And then we got Jakob Poeltl for more than 9.5 rebounds and assists. So I'm going to throw 20 on this, and I'm going to spice things up. I'm going to spice things up as well. Here's the 6 pick. By spicing it up, what I mean is we're going to up the stakes on this 6 pick. If this 6 pick goes 6 for 6, I'm going to start doing this regularly. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and start doing this, make this a regular thing. If this goes 6 for 6, I'm going to pick somebody who goes to the comment section after I end the show, after I end the live stream. Go to the comment section. You can comment anything. Comment your favorite pick of the day. How about that? I'll pick somebody from the comment section to win $100. If this goes 6 for 6, you just leave a comment after I end the show, and I'll pick you from the comment section, somebody from the comment section randomly to win $100. Okay? Because this is going to pay me $500. And so I'm going to take 100 of that 500 and I'm going to give it back to one of you wonderful viewers and supporters out there. So we'll make this a regular thing going forward. Y'all remind me, all right? But if this goes 6 for 6, I'll pick somebody from the comment section after I end the show, not from the live chat, but from the comment section of the replay of the video. And I'll pay you $100 if we go 6 for 6. Just to spice it up, just to up the ante, to build the anticipation, the excitement. I'll win 500, but I'll give you guys 100 of it. I'm a man of the people. So all you have to do, be a subscriber, hit the like button, and leave a comment after I end today's show. This goes 6 for 6, and I'll throw somebody out there a blue face hunted. It'll be like Cash App or Venmo, but it'll be a blue face hunted. Let's just go with that. Cool? All right. So we got a lot of super chats to get to. A lot of super chats to get to. So let's do that. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate those who left super chats for being patient as we worked our way through our first 6 picks of the day. Let's run through these super chats real quick. We've already looked at Research Prevails. Research Prevails was giving me all the love and shout outs for 2 big 25x payouts. Plus he hit another 4 5 out of 6s double ups yesterday, all with plays from Dub Club. So appreciate you guys. If you're not in Dub Club and you want to be, we got a great community going. It's just $19.99 a month, or $20 a month. 67 cents per day is what it kind of breaks out to. So I've left a link in the live chat for those who are interested in being a part of the community, getting even more picks from yours truly on a daily basis. Now, Bearded Gator, I don't know where you came from with this, man. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because you reached deep down into your pocket and left me this super chat. I'm going to read it out loud right now. CJ, the Big Beefer Curry. So meaty. And this is where it really gets disturbing. So veiny. Thank you, Bearded Gator. I think that's all that needs to be said about that super chat. Moving on. Everyday Fantasy's actually got some picks that he wants us to look at. Starting with Herb Jones at 3.5 rebounds. He's thinking of taking the over. However, it is a secondary option. Okay. Or he's got a secondary option. Herb Jones for a block. So 2 different ways that you're liking Herb Jones, if I'm understanding and deciphering your super chat correctly. We'll look at both options if we can. He's 4 for 4 this season at blocking a shot. Good to know. And then your other one is Jones, over 7.5 points. A different Jones, though, not Herb Jones. He's looking at Trey Jones for more than 7.5 points. By the way, I think they might have fixed that search function issue. For those of you like myself who are being annoyed by the search function, I'm not noticing that it's resetting like it was. It's actually holding on to my search. Maybe that was part of the issues that they were having last night when the entire PrizePicks board was pulled down for some reason. PrizePicks was having some major technical difficulties last night. Right around 7 o'clock too, Eastern time. All right, last in limbo, already super chatted the Pascal Siakam rebounds and assists. So we've addressed that one pretty thoroughly. No need to go back to that. It did get bumped up to 11 rebounds and assists. So hopefully, last in limbo, you were able to take it when it was still at 10.5. Your other ones, though, you like Tobias Harris tonight for points and rebounds to go over. And then you also like Jakob Poeltl on his first half points. All right. I have not looked at Tobias Harris points and rebounds. 20.5 going up against Toronto. And we did talk about some of those new guys. Maybe they make their debuts tonight. Does anyone have any information out there? Maybe you guys can help me out. Will the new Philadelphia Sixers players that they acquired in that trade, will they be making their debut tonight, or when will that happen? It's not fixed, gotta. Okay, maybe it's not fixed. It seems to be holding here on the desktop app, though. I haven't seen it reset on me just yet. But anyway, Philadelphia. Do you guys know if the Philadelphia players are playing? Covington, Batum, Marcus Morris, KJ Martin. Are they playing tonight? No, not playing yet? Okay, that's important to know. I think we should be definitely anticipating that or thinking about that with a guy like Tobias Harris. Anyway, points and rebounds for Harris was your other play. And then you also liked Poeltl for first half points. Where's he at? 4.5? Thinking about taking the over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we got room for one more, and then I'll get to these other ones in just a minute. Thoughts on Franz Wagner over 4.5 rebounds and Jeremy Sohan for over 15.5 points and rebounds. All right, let's add Franz Wagner. Oh, we're still in first half. Told you guys, be careful with these Orlando Magic players, but we're going to look at Franz Wagner at over 4.5 rebounds. All right, we got some homework to do. We got some picks to look at. So let's start with Herb Jones over 3.5 rebounds going up against Detroit. We've also got Herb Jones for more than a block. 2 different Herb Jones plays. So punch Herb Jones' name into the optimizer here, and you will be greeted with Herb Jones at the very top. You see his rebounds at 3.5, 53% chance that he goes over. He goes over 3.5 boards. Okay. Now we are waiting on some Brandon Ingram news. We're not sure if Ingram's in or out just yet. For me, that would be impactful to a Herb Jones in this case. If Brandon Ingram is out. I'd probably like the over on Herb Jones at 3.5 rebounds a little bit more. If Brandon Ingram is in, maybe I sour on it just a little bit. So keep that in mind. Brandon Ingram currently listed as a game time decision. All right. But as of right now, 53% chance that Herb Jones is going to go over 3.5 boards. So knowing that we know that, let's go check his projections. 4.3 projected rebounds. So if you guys got the inside scoop, Ingram maybe being out tonight, and you want to jump on Herb Jones over 3.5 boards early, it's looking good here. 5.3 projected rebounds over on RotoWire puts him well over 3.5. A third projection for Herbert Jones on his boards, 4.2, and that's Line Star giving us that number. So pretty healthy projections so far for Herb. Last projection, Number Fire has him at 4.7, so he can stay. For right now, he can stay. Again, if that Ingram news comes out, and Ingram ends up playing tonight, then you might want to back off of this a little bit. That's what I ended up having to do last night. I saw Jonas Valanciunas was a plus EV play who was projecting well, but then Ingram ended up being ruled out, and I didn't want to take the under on Joe Val. And thank God I didn't, because Joe Val ended up actually having a pretty good game last night. Now, the block shots, I don't think really matter if Ingram is in or out. I don't think that impacts Herbert Jones' ability to block a shot, whether Ingram's in or out. But we'll look at that one as well as an alternative. So taking a look at where he's at, he's projected for 1.8 blocks. Now, is this a plus EV play? Because it's not looking like it. It looks like most people are betting the under on Herbert Jones here. Let me just double check. It's a slightly plus EV play. About a 51.4% chance that he's going to record at least one block today. So yeah, slightly EV play. Everyday Fantasy saying that he has hit rebounds with Ingram in and out. Well, that's good to know. He's shown a capacity to get it done with or without Ingram. Perfect. All right, so he's projected for one block. It is a plus EV play. Not as much of an EV play as his rebounds. So I would probably say, just as of now, I would probably take the rebounds before I would take the block shots. Blocks and steals, wildly unpredictable. Rebounds, a little bit more predictable, less volatile. But here's a projection for you at 0.8 blocks. Take a look at some other ones. His blocks here on Line Star, 0.6, slightly more than the 0.5 line. And then he is projected for a block, or 0.8 blocks, we'll say. 0.8 blocks on Number Fire. So most of the projections do have Herb going over the 0.5 blocks line. For me, I'd rather take chances with his rebounds, but keep this one tucked away in your back pocket. Herb Jones for more than a half a block. All right, we'll take him out for right now, though. And then in his place, we'll put Jeremy Sohan over 15.5 points and rebounds, because that was the second half of Tristan Reese's super chat. He had Franz Wagner and he had Sohan over rebounds and points and rebounds, respectively. All right, so we'll add Sohan in there. We'll look at him in just a minute. All right, so Herb Jones, I think we all can agree, looks like a good play at 3.5 rebounds. Trey Jones, however, at 7.5 points, we need to see if he's checking out. He's going up against Phoenix tonight. I don't think Phoenix's backcourt has been fantastic thus far at guarding opposing guards. But let's dig into this one. He's at 7.5 points. You got about a 51.5% chance that he's going to go over. So as I've mentioned in the past, player prop lines are typically set as close as possible to 50-50, right? That's what the lines makers do. They try to set a line that's as close to 50-50 as possible. Now, based on how this player prop is being bet on different sports books, we are seeing just a slight little edge toward the over, right? 51.5% chance that he could go over his points line. So now that we know that, let's apply projections to this. He is projected for 9.3 points on a line of 7.5. That's a Fantasy Labs projection. The RotoWire projection has him all the way up at 10.3. Another big projection for the over for Trey Jones. Line Star, they've got Trey Jones at 9. So unanimously, 3 for 3 projected to go over his points line. And why not? Let's make it a sweep. A clean sweep. Trey Jones over 7.5 points. 4 out of 4 projections have Trey Jones going over 7.5 points. 10.3 on Number Fire. All right, so he stays. I think he stays on 6 Pick Island. Herbert Jones and Trey Jones can both stay on 6 Pick Island. Now, we're looking at these other ones. Tobias Harris at 20.5 points and rebounds. Does he stay? We got to look at that one because I don't know. You call it being jaded. You could call it maybe a bias against Tobias. But Tobias Harris gives me anxiety. Even before putting him in any kind of entry, I'm already feeling anxious about Tobias Harris in the points and rebounds. Can anyone identify with that? Can anyone agree with the anxiety of putting anything Tobias Harris over in your entry? I mean, look at him. He's making me itch already. I'm already breaking out in hives because of this guy. 20.5 points and rebounds, though. 50.2% chance that he's going to go over that. Now, that's about a coin flip. That's about as coin flippy as you could get. So, is it a plus EV play? Not really. Not really. But we're going to look at it. Tobias Harris, man. That guy has cost me some coin. He is one that does not typically respect my money. 20 points and rebounds is the first projection going up against Toronto tonight. I think he's going to have his hands full. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be Siakam getting the assignment. I don't know if it's going to be Scotty Barnes, but both of those guys are pretty good defenders out on the perimeter or in the post. He's projected for 20 points and rebounds here on RotoWire. Taking a look at Line Star. Line Star loves him. They love him tonight. 24.1 points and rebounds for J. Cole on Line Star. And then the last projection for Tobias Harris, 14.8 points. And then another 6.4 rebounds. Did I get that right? 14.8 plus 6.4. So 21.2. I think that's the only site that had him projected. Well, them and Line Star had him projected over. Fantasy Labs and RotoWire did not like Tobias Harris over. So Jay Spills says, Tobias sells at the wrong time and goes over on random days. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this guy has drove me crazy in the past. I think I'm going to leave him alone, though. You got 2 models like him, 2 models that hate him, and it's not really that much of a plus EV play. So as far as him, I'm going to kick him off of 6 Pick Island. See ya, Tobias Harris. We got to make room for somebody who maybe respects our coin just a little bit better. Guys, if you're liking what I'm doing here for you guys, going through everything, going through all these picks and plays, help your boy out. Run them likes up. 174 watchers, 123 likes. We got an opportunity there for about 50 more likes. If everybody steps up, we can get another like 50 more likes before we end this thing, which isn't going to be anytime soon. Jakob Poeltl, 4.5 first half points. Now, for something like this, I go back to my tried and true, which is going to be props.cash. I go to props.cash for this. Why do I go to props.cash? Well, props.cash is cool because they offer a glimpse at how a player can perform in the first half only. In this case, we're looking at Jakob Poeltl at 4.5 first half points. They've got the game logs here. Full detailed game logs. And here's what we're seeing on Jakob Poeltl. 5 first-half points in his season debut. 8 first-half points against the Chicago Bulls. Now, he has played Philadelphia. This was October 28th. This was 5 days ago. Only 3 first-half points in that one. But then he came back strong against Portland with 9 first-half points. And then Milwaukee, he had 12. That was yesterday. 12 first-half points. So 4 for 5 to start the season at 4.5 first-half points. But it is important for me to point out that the one game that he did not succeed and did not score more than 4.5 first-half points was against tonight's opponent, the Philadelphia 76ers. Worth noting, okay? So that's what you have to look forward to. Do I have any first-half projections? I don't, unfortunately. Are there any sportsbook lines that we can go and kind of look at for this particular pick? Not that I know of. Not for first half points. I don't know of any other site, maybe outside of PrizePicks, like a sportsbook site that has odds for first half player props. So all we really have to look forward to is kind of like game logs, historical data. No projections. But yeah, I mean, Poeltl 4 out of 5. I mean, you could also look at maybe playing his first half PRA. That's another way to go. What is his first half PRA on PrizePicks? Because that might be another option for you too. Maybe he doesn't score so well, but maybe he pulls in some rebounds and gets you a couple of assists. What's going on here? No results found. Am I tripping? Oh, there we go. There we go. See, yeah, he's at 9.5. All right. So his first half PRA is actually, check this out. Green Bean City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 5. He's hit the first half PRA line of 9.5 in all 5 games to start the season. So it could be a little bit, maybe it's a little bit better play if you play the first half PRA instead of the first half points. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because it is a 5 out of 5, 100%. I normally don't like to make my decisions based on game logs, but again, we're kind of limited in what we can do here. But, I mean, you see it. 11, 10, 10, 17, 22. First half points, rebounds, and assists. Jay Love says, that means he's going to go under today. Jay Love, what goes up must come down eventually. You're right about that. There will be a day. I don't know if it's going to be today, but there will be a day where Jakob Poeltl's probably not going to get you 10 first half points, rebounds, and assists. But check out props.cash if you don't have access. Maybe you've never used it before. Use code Curry. You can save yourself 25% off your first month of props.cash if you want access to all of this data. I mean, they've got everything you could think of as far as NBA game logs and advanced data and stats. It's all in this app, props.cash. There's a link in the description of the video. Go check it out. Use code Curry. Save yourself some money on your first month. So there you go. 5 out of 5 on his first half PRA. So Poeltl looks good. I'm going to take the PRA over the points if it was me, but I'm going to leave him out because I'm just OCD. I don't like putting first half plays in my full game plays. I'm just weird like that. I'm going to leave him out. But if you're looking to make like a first half only entry, then maybe include Jakob Poeltl over 9.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists in your first half only. Okay, but that one checks out. Franz Wagner, 4.5 rebounds. Only Franz. Is only Franz considered to be a plus EV play? Let's look. His rebounds today, 4.5. He's got a 51% chance of going over 4.5. 51% chance he gets 5 rebounds tonight. So let's go run these projections up real quick on Franz Wagner and see if he is going to go over like he is projected to. 5.6 rebounds against the Utah Jazz tonight. Very nice, solid first projection on Fantasy Labs. So that's looking pretty nice. Second projection for him, 4.54, a little closer, a little bit tighter. 4.54 on RotoWire. Taking a look at where he's at on a site like LineStar. LineStar's got him all the way up at 5.4. They think Franz Wagner's going to have a pretty good rebounding night. And then his fourth and final projection, which is provided by NumberFire, 4.2 rebounds. Coming in a little underweight is Franz Wagner. Where are we at here? PrizePicks. There we go. So 3 out of 4 of the projection models like him going over 4.5. Really, I would say 2 out of 4 are convincingly higher than 4.5 rebounds. We'll leave him in there for now. We'll call him an honorable mention play. But if there's something that looks sweeter than Franz Wagner's rebounds, then he can be one of the first ones that gets voted off 6-pick island. All right. But for now, you get to stay, Franz. Jeremy Sohan, 15.5 points and rebounds. My guy Tristan Reese was liking Jeremy Sohan for going over 15.5 points and rebounds. Let's look into this one a little closer here. We mentioned Wemby. We mentioned Zach Collins. We did not mention a whole lot of Jeremy Sohan earlier, but he's at 15.5 points and rebounds with about a 51% chance of clearing the over. Okay, so is it the most optimal EV play on the board? Nah. There's not a lot of juice backing it on these sports books, but it's a look. It's a look. Let's see if he's projecting for more than 15.5 now. 17.1 is more than 15.5. That's sweet. We'll take that first projection and we'll run with it. Second projection's got him at 16. Again, putting him over 15.5. Anything at 16 or better, that's what we're looking for. Sohan checks out thus far. Now, here's one where he is under, and that's at LineStar, 14.4 points and rebounds on a line of 15.5. We don't like that quite as much. And then the last one, he's going to be at 16.1 points and rebounds. So again, 3 out of 4 sites agree that Jeremy Sohan's going to get your 16 points and rebounds for you, that he's going to do it for you. So we'll leave him in there. Again, if something stronger comes along, then Franz and or Sohan can maybe exit our 6th pick. But for right now, we've got those 4 buckled in. All right, we got another super chat coming through. It is from our guy, Resilient Gaming. Resilient Gaming says, Josh Okogie under on his points. Why don't you use props.cash for projections? I mean, there's a lot of sites that offer projections. Where do they keep their projections? Right here? Is this a projection? I haven't really used them. I'll have to look into that. I know Fantasy Labs, though. I use them a lot. They're rock solid. I know RotoWire is solid. LineStar, I'm still trying to figure out. NumberFire is solid, too. But LineStar, I don't know. Sometimes LineStar is always kind of weird. They're kind of off in left field with their projections. But no, I haven't really used, props.cash a ton for their projections. Maybe I should start, huh? Yeah, StatMuse does give you first half stats. However, I want to say that StatMuse is now like a paid or premium subscription. Like you only get so many search queries in a given time span or something, and then you have to pay. I think they're behind a paywall now too. So they'll give you like X amount of like free uses, and then you got to pay up. You got to pay up to stay up after a while, I think. Anyway, you were looking at Josh Okogie for under on points. Let's peek that one real quick. Okogie. Where's he at today? 9.5 points going up against San Antonio. You're wanting to take the under at 9.5, right? And then Everyday Fantasy coming through with another super chat. He's liking Lauri Markkanen for more than 10.5 rebounds and assists. Cool. We'll add that one in there as well. Markkanen. 10.5 rebounds and assists for more. Perfect. All right. So we got two new ones that might end up completing our second six pick. So let's look at these real quick. Josh Okogie for less than 9.5 points. He's going up against San Antonio. And then Lauri Markkanen for more than 10.5 rebounds and assists going up against my Orlando Magic. I don't like that, man. You think he's going to have a good game tonight on the rebounds and the assists? Maybe he does. We saw Anthony Davis absolutely eat against the Orlando Magic the other night. Why can I not spell Okogie? Help me out. There we go. All right, his points at 9.5. You're getting about a 53.5% chance that he's not going to get 10 points tonight. So that's not bad. 53.43% chance that he stays under 9.5 points. So is it a plus EV play? Yes, we can check that off the board. The juice, the odds are in our favor. They are in our favor. Now that we know that, we can go check out some projections on Josh Okogie real quick. There I go again. I'm leaving out that second O. O-K-O-G-I-E. That spells Okogie. See that? Now I'll never forget. O-K-O-G-I-E. That spells Okogie. I'm here to entertain, not just inform. Hopefully you're getting a kick out of this. Anyway, Okogie, 9.3 projected points. I'm losing it, guys. I'm losing my mind. 10.6 projected points on RotoWire puts him over 9.5. So we got 1 over, 1 under so far. A third projection for Okogie, 11.4 points. These projection models not really liking Okogie under 9.5 points. Let's look at the third and final one, which is Number Fire. Number Fire's got Okogie all the way up at 11.9 points. So resilient gaming, here's what I'll say. You should be careful taking Josh Okogie under 9.5 points, because he's projected for almost 12 points on some of these sites. Almost 12 points. 10 or more on a lot of these sites, though. 3 out of 4 sites say Okogie's going over 9.5. So for me, Okogie, you got to go-gie. See you, bud. It's been real. I can't put him in there. Not with good conscience. Lauri Markkanen, though, at 10.5 rebounds and assists. This one was provided by Everyday Fantasy. Guys, leave your favorite picks in the live chat. We're going to need a 6th pick, a final pick, and it might be the one that you guys mention here. So if you have something that you're holding on to and that you're really liking, let me know. Super chat or not, I'll try to see if we can find a 6th pick, because we're going to need one, at least one more pick. Let's see if Lauri Markkanen checks out at 10.5 rebounds and assists. Once again, we're going to go run the numbers. Lauri's sitting at, come on, baby. Work with me. Lauri's sitting at rebounds and assists. Where is he at? Dang, he's 52%, 51%, 51.1% chance to go over rebounds and assists. 51.1% chance that he goes over. So it is a plus EV play. We know that much. He's projected for 11.8 rebounds and assists against Orlando tonight, according to Fantasy Labs. Second projection for Lauri Markkanen, 11, which is good. Anything 11 or better, and we'll see cheddar, right? Another projection has him at 11.8. That's a pretty big over. So we're 3 for 3 on projections over his line of 10.5. And then the last one, they've got him at 10.6, putting him just slightly over the 10.5 mark. So Lauri Markkanen, welcome to the family. You are welcome to stay, my friend. We'll take Lauri Markkanen over 10.5 rebounds and assists. So Herbert Jones, Trey Jones, Franz Wagner, Jeremy Sohan, and Lauri Markkanen in our second 6th pick that we're building. But we do need one more pick. We do need one more. So let's see what you guys got. Is Booker still out? He's questionable. He's questionable. According to Underdog's news page here, the key NBA news to watch out for: Devin Booker ankle questionable, Brandon Ingram knee to be determined, and Jalen Duren ankle to be determined. Those are your top 3 key pieces of NBA news. So as of right now, questionable. We don't know if he's playing or not. If he's in, then Okogie under points. I like that. I like that. If he's out, then I probably would stay away from Okogie. Yeah, I know. Chris Monin pointing out, Lion Star seems to always be a little underweight for everyone. Yeah, they're weird, man. They're just always out there in left field going against every other projection model. That's why I'm kind of like scratching my head some days. I'm like, are they sharp? Are they good? Or are they just weird and different all the time? I don't know. Not sure about that one. All right, well, it's pretty apparent that somebody in the chat likes Scotty Barnes for more than his rebound and assist line. In case y'all didn't notice, somebody in the chat's got a hankering for Scotty Barnes to collect more than whatever his rebound and assist line. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to say how. Somebody likes Scotty Barnes for more than his rebounds and assists. You know who you are, you special little guy. And I say special in not the most endearing way. I say special like I feel sorry for you because you obviously, there's something not quite right there. I'm just kidding. I'm giving you a hard time. No need to spam, though. No need to spam. I see your comment in the live chat. All right, Scotty Barnes at 12.5 rebounds and assists. Boy, if this pick doesn't hit, don't show up tomorrow. Just saying, your guy's gonna get flamed. They're gonna roast you, boy. Better hope it hits. You standing on it. You standing on it. 10 toes down right now, ain't you? Spamming this pick better hit. That's all I'm gonna say. You better not show up if it don't hit. They're gonna be dragging you. All right, he's projected for 11.7 rebounds and assists. That's less than 12.5. You're wanting to take the over, right? Yeah, you're wanting to take the over. He's projected for 11.7. Second projection, 11.9. It ain't looking good, man. I think I'm going to have to leave Scotty Barnes alone. Now, here you go again. Line Star wants to be weird. They want to be different. They want to be the only one that's backing Scotty Barnes on his rebounds and assists for whatever reason. They got him projected for 14.2 rebounds and assists. 14.2 rebounds and assists. So one projection for the over on Scotty Barnes. The last one's got him at 11 rebounds and assists. So 3 out of 4 projection models have Scotty Barnes for less than his rebound and assist line, which was, what did we say it was? 12.5? Yeah, I'm going to leave that one for you, buddy. You take that one. You take this one. Oh, you wanted it from more. You take this one. I'm not going to take this one. I'm going to leave it alone. Okay? Chris, for some reason, your super chats, what? It's weird. Like, they don't always show up for me. Yeah, like some of these don't show up for whatever reason. I got to look at like the live YouTube chat and not this software that I run. All right. So we got Wendell Carter Jr. over 8 rebounds for Osmosis Jones. Let's see. He's at 8.5 against Utah tonight, but you're liking him for more than 8, which means he's going to have to get 9 anyway, right? So 8, 8.5. You're hoping for 9 either way. So let's look at that one. And then last in limbo, left one for Embiid over 28.5 points. Maxey over 5.5 assists. Took Siakam this morning over 10.5. Chris is liking Maxey and Siakam over PRA for both. And he's liking Kessler for over 7.5 points. And he's liking Embiid for under 16.5 rebounds and assists. All right, y'all are throwing a lot at me. We already got like a full slip pretty much built out here, but maybe we go for a third 6 pick. Let's start with Wendell Carter Jr.'s rebounds at 8.5. Apologies. I don't know why all these super chats kind of like hide from me sometimes. Wendell Carter Jr. rebounds at 8.5. It is not advised that you play the over. And that is just, again, me looking at the sportsbook data. He's at 8.5 on a lot of these books. He's being bet under at 8.5. Now, PrizePicks wants to be so gracious and bump him down from 8.5 down to 8 again. Then maybe we jump on the over because you will have tie or push potential at 8 boards. But as of right now, at 8.5, it looks like the under is actually the way to do this, way to play him. Okay. So for PrizePick purposes, probably not what you want to do at 8.5. You don't want to take the over. He's projected for exactly 8.5 here on Fantasy Labs. Over on RotoWire, 9.4. So that puts him over. So 8.5 to 9.4. 8.5 to 9.4. But here you go. Lion Star's got him all the way down at 7.6. So you're talking about 7.6 being the low, 9.4 being the high. And then he's at 8.1 here on Number Fire. So no, I can't vouch for Wendell Carter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds. If he gets bumped down to 8, then maybe we take the over there. But at 8.5 on PrizePicks, I can't tell you to play that. I wouldn't play it. I'm not going to play it personally. All right, last in Limbo's liking Joel Embiid over 28.5 points, Maxey over 5.5 assists. So let's look at the process at 28.5 points first and foremost. We talked about how well Joel Embiid and Pascal Siakam tend to play against one another usually. Embiid's sitting at 28.5 points. He's got a 52% chance of going over this line today. So it's a pretty good play as far as it being EV or not, plus EV or not, and it is. You can see some juice on these different sports books, minus 140, minus 138. Pretty good juice coming in on the over for Embiid tonight. So now that we know it's a plus EV play, let's go ahead and run the projections on him. 31.3. Holy smokes. 31.3 projected points for Joel Embiid on a line of 28.5 on PrizePicks. Massive over. That's a great first projection. Second projection for him, 27.5. So RotoWire going the opposite direction. Pretty big under projection for Embiid. Let's see what Lion Star has to say. Lion Star's got him at 27 points. 27 points according to Lion Star. So another under. So we got one big over, but we've got two other sites that say take the under on Joel Embiid. The last projection is 28.4, putting him slightly under 28.5. So 3 out of 4 sites. Not too high on Embiid tonight for points. So he gets kicked to the curb, but maybe Tyrese Maxey over 5.5 assists can join the party. Let's look. Maxey 5.5 dimes going up against the Raptors tonight. Still looking for our final pick. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them locked in there. We're looking for that final elusive 6th pick, and maybe it's Tyrese Maxey and these assists. Maybe he gets 6 or more. That's what Last in Limbo's hoping for anyway, I think. Taking a look at Maxey at 5.5 assists, it's almost a coin flip. Once again, 50.1% chance that he goes under, which means there's going to be about a 49.9% chance that he goes over. Okay. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up based on the odds pulled from the sports books. But perhaps we break the tie by referencing some of these projection models. They got him at 6.7 projected assists going up against Toronto tonight, which is a lot more than 5.5. That's a healthy over if you're thinking about taking the over on Maxey's assists. Second one, 4.96. So you got 1 over, 1 under. Back to Line Star. Line Star's got Maxey's assists at 6.2. So that's 2 projected overs, 1 projected under now for Maxey. And then to Number Fire we go. Number Fire's got him at 3.9. So here you go. 2 overs, 2 unders. I'm going to leave that one alone. There's a reason why it's a 50-50, as you can see, right? There's a reason for that. So he could stay right there. Not going to take Tyrese Maxey at 5.5 assists. All right, Chris. You're liking Maxey as well, but for the PRA, you're also thinking about Siakam for the PRA or Walker Kessler for the points. My goodness. It's a 3-for-1 special. Start with Maxey. Since we're talking Maxey, let's start with Maxey. He's at 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So you're liking the over on Maxey's PRA. So let's go ahead and run that. Still looking for that 6th pick. We're digging. We're hunting. We're searching. You got a 53.3% chance, Chris, that Tyrese Maxey's going to get that 34 PRA for you. Pretty nice little plus EV play there, 53.3%. So when we go look at these projections, we're looking for 34 or more. Now this first one is not 34 or more. It's 32.5. It is less than 33.5. Okay. Second projection on Maxey, even worse, even lower, 28.99. Let's call it 29 PRA. Whew. Just when you didn't think it could get any lower, it got lower on RotoWire. But Line Star, again, the redheaded stepchild, the odd one of the bunch, has him all the way up at 40.2 PRA. So 2 unders, 1 over. And then Maxey sitting at 19.4 points. Plus another 3.3 boards and another 3.9 assists. 26.6. PRA for Maxey is a big fat under, man. Yeah, can't recommend Tyrese Maxey. I think they pulled one of our picks off the board. Who did they pull? Who was up here that they just pulled off the board? Because I just got the notification on PrizePicks that something got removed. We had Markkanen, Sohan, Wagner, Trey Jones. Who was that? Who was that? We had a 5th pick up here that they just snatched. Who was it? I already forgot. Was that Herb Jones rebounds at 3.5? Herb Jones over 3.5 boards. I think that's the one it was. So Zion just got ruled out. You guys are saying Zion Williamson's not playing tonight? Well, that's big news. No wonder they ripped Herb Jones away from us. So, yeah. Okay. I guess there was some New Orleans news. I guess Zion's not playing tonight. Interesting. So if Zion's out, does that increase the likelihood that Brandon Ingram is in? That could be a thing. Maybe they give Zion the night off and they play BI since he got to sit out last night. Yeah, there are no Pelicans on the board right now. We can't even take McCollum anything. And of course, when they get reposted, the lines will be adjusted. They'll be up. They'll be up for sure. All right, so now we need 2 picks because Herb Jones is no longer an option for us. Pascal Siakam's PRA was the other one that Chris liked, and he was talking about Walker, Texas, Kessler at 7.5 points, taking the over against my Orlando Magic. So we got Siakam and Kessler as maybe honorable, worthwhile mentions. Let's start with Siakam's PRA. We missed Siakam's rebounds and assists before it got bumped up to 11. But perhaps this is a fine substitution. Points, rebounds, and assists for Siakam sitting at about a 53% chance of hitting. Go ahead and check that off. Yes, it's a plus EV play. which is really just about all you should be playing on PrizePicks, are plus EV plays. So now that we know that, let's go and dig a little deeper here. Siakam projected for 29.8 PRA. That is under. That is under. Second projection, though, is pretty well over at 33.7, 3.2 PRA over. So you got these projection models kind of button heads once again. Fantasy Labs likes him to go under. RotoWire likes him to go over. LineStar likes him to go under at 28.8 PRA. So you got 2 against 1 now. 2 unders against 1 over. And then Number Fire's got him at 19.1 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 5.3 assists, putting him at 31.8, which is going to put him over 30.5 PRA. So you got 2 overs, 2 unders. I'm going to leave him off, but he is a plus EV play, and there's at least 2 models that support the over for Siakam, but I'm not seeing enough to love that. All right, we got Kessler at 7.5 points. That was another one that Chris Monin was liking. Chris, let's see if you're moaning for Walker Kessler tonight, big boy. Too far? 7.5 points for Walker Kessler. Let's go see what his projections and everything are looking like. 7.5 points. Is it a plus EV play? It sure is. 52.3% chance that he scores 8 points tonight. So it is actually, out of all Walker Kessler plays, the most EV play on the board is his points over 7.5. Okay. So we know that. What we don't know is how he's projecting tonight. And the first one's got him at 9. So that's strong. 8 or more points is what we're looking for, hopefully. 9.4 over here on RotoWire. Another nice over projection for Walker Kessler. Not known to be a big-time scorer, but, you know, that's why you're getting his line as low as 7.5 points. He's only got to put it in the hoop, 4 times. Another projection, 8.8, 3 for 3. Can we go for the sweep, the 4 for 4 projection on Walker Kessler points? We can. We do sweep with a projection of 7.7, although it is not the strongest 4th projection. It is over, closer to 8 than 7. So Walker Kessler, you get to stay. You and your white brother, Lauri Markkanen, both these Utah Jazz big boys, are going to have Chris moaning tonight, I hope. I hope whoever lives with Chris hears Chris moan for Walker Kessler as he puts in his 8th point of the night. Shall we continue? I think we should. Joel Embiid under 16.5 rebounds and assists. We do need a 6th pick. And maybe Joel Embiid going under 16.5 rebounds and assists is the one to finish the job for us here. Going up against Toronto, Embiid, I don't know. Sometimes he rebounds well. Sometimes he's hitting 10, 11 boards. I mean, he's never putting up, massive rebound numbers, 15, 20 rebounds, nothing like that. It's rare you see Embiid do that. He's mostly focused on putting the ball in the bucket, right? So let's see if tonight is a bad night to take Joel Embiid's rebounds and assists over. In other words, we're looking to take the under here. We want to see some good juice on the under. We want to see some good projections for the under. As far as Joel Embiid picks go, this is the top optimal EV play on the board based on the sportsbooks data. You got a 52.7% chance that Embiid's going to stay at 16 or fewer tonight on the rebounds and the assists. So that is a good sign. 13.9 first projection. Even if we were feeling generous, even if we wanted to round this number up to 14, 14 is not going to be more than 16.5. It's going to be less. And so that is a good projection because we are thinking that the under is the way that we want to go on this. Me and Chris, we're riding with this one. 15.8 rebounds and assists on a line of 16.5. 2 for 2, Buckaroo. Another projection for Embiid, 14.8 rebounds and assists. That's 3 for 3 for you and me, Chris. Loving it. He is projecting to go under 16.5 on all these models. 10.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists. That's 14.6. Quick math. 14.6 rebounds and assists. So Embiid, under 16.5 rebounds and assists, he stays. And with that being said, I think that's our 6th pick. If either one of these 6 picks hit tonight, guys, if we go 6 for 6 on either one of the 6 picks tonight, I'm picking somebody from the comment section to win $100. Here's what we got. Here's all 12 picks that we have so far. Trey Jones for more than 7.5 points. Franz Wagner, more than 4.5 rebounds. Jeremy Sohan for more than 15.5 points and rebounds. Lauri Markkanen for more than 10.5 rebounds and assists. Walker Kessler for more than 7.5 points, with Joel Embiid for less than 16.5 rebounds and assists. So that's our most recent 6 pick. And then we got these 6 additional picks. This was our first 6 pick. It was Asar Thompson for less than 29 fantasy score, along with Scotty Barnes for less than 37 fantasy score. We had John Collins for less than 28 fantasy score. We had Zach Collins for more than 3.5 assists. Cedi Osman for less than 8.5 points. And Jakob Poeltl for more than 9.5 rebounds and assists. All right. Take your screenshots. Lock these entries in. I'll give everybody a moment to screenshot these 6 picks in case you missed the first 6. Here, I want to be in your screenshot. You got them? All right, good. And make sure you screenshot this one too. Perfect. We're all screenshotted up. Everybody got your screenshots in? There's your 12 picks, all right? Any other super chats that I might have missed? Markkanen, we already talked about that one. I think it's about time for me to get out of here, though, you know? 143 likes, 157 people watching. If you have not liked, subscribed, and turned those notifications on, do it now. Do it now. And then you Dub Club members out there, we're coming back with some more winning picks for the Dub Club members. Link to the Dub Clubs in the live chat. You guys can join the Dub Club, $20 a month, 67 cents per day. I already gave you 12 picks for the free, right? For the free. But I'm going to give you even more picks tonight. We got football tonight. We got basketball. We got hockey. We got a little bit of everything, all right? Nice little night. Picks on the way. Picks coming for the Dub Club members. You guys have a good night. Good luck on all your entries. And remember, I'm giving away $100 to each one of you who comment down in the comment section. I'll pick somebody from the comment section to win $100. If either one of our 6 picks goes 6 for 6 and we 25X, I'm giving somebody down in the comments of the replay a $100 bill. We'll do it live on tomorrow's show. Good luck tonight.